Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you to create an automation test for mobile application using Python. I'm going to write an automation test for Swag Lab mobile application. It is a e-commerce application. So in the Python, there is the popular library called Appium, which is used for performing the automation for mobile application. It is used to perform the automation for Android as well as for the iPhone. The Appium works just like Selenium. The Selenium is used to perform the automation on browser, but the Appium is used to perform the automation on mobile application. So I have written the four test case for this project. First, I will show you the demo of this project. After that, I will show you to download the dependencies and write the test case and connect this project with the Slack. So in the case of the test case failure, you get the automatic notification on the Slack. So let me run the test case. So it is very compulsory to run the APM server. So I already run the APM server in this terminal. Now let me run the test case. So let me write a pytest -x -b and let me press the enter. The first test case is for login. As you can see in the Android emulator, it automatically get login. And after login successfully, the test case is passed. And for the second, I test for adding the card and it's running for the place order. So last one is for the logout. So as you can see, the four of the test case get passed. Okay, let's download the requirement the needed for the project. We are going to write the automation test for mobile application. So first thing we need is APK file of mobile application. This is the GitHub repository of the mobile application that we are going to use for performing the automation test. So by clicking on this first link, you will get the APK. As you can see, there is other file also. This file is for iOS, but currently I am focusing on for Android device. So by clicking on this link, you will get the APK file. And after downloading the APK file, the another thing that we need is Appium. So this is the documentation of Appium. If you want to know more about Appium, you can read the overall documentation. So to install the Appium, here is the command. You can execute this command in your command cell. Install the Appium globally, but make sure you have the Node.js installed in your system. If you don't have the Node.js installed, you can download the Node.js by visiting its corresponding site. There is a lot of tutorial on downloading and installing the Node.js. And to start the Appium server, you simply write the Appium in the command cell and press enter. It will start the Appium. The to perform the automation test, we need other things also. So another thing that we need is UI automated to driver. It is an interface that allowed Appium to automate the particular platform. In simple meaning that it is an interface that allows Appium to interact with the mobile application. So you can install the UI automated driver by executing a simple command. Before that, you have to install other things also. The first thing that you should have is Android SDK. Another one is the Java SDK. So you can fulfill this requirement by downloading the Android Studio in your system. And after downloading and installing the Android Studio in your system, you have to set up the Android home environment variable and you have to provide the path where the Android SDK is downloaded. So let me show you how I set the environment variable in my system. So let me click on this an environment variable. And as you can see, I have set the Android home and here I have give the path for the Android SDK is download. The other thing is for Java SDK. So you can download the Java by visiting uh, the Oracle site. And after downloading and installing the Java into your system, just like Android Studio, you have to s- set the environment variable. You have to set the Java home, and in the value you have to provide the path for the Java SDK is download. Let me show you how I define Java SDK, and the value I have given the path for the Java SDK is download. And the thing is, by executing this command, you can install the UI automated tool. Um, so this is the overall things that you can need to know to install the requirement. To validate the prerequisite, you can also execute this command, the Appium driver doctor UI automator tool. So it makes sure that you set up all the prerequisites needed for the UI automator tool. Let me show you how it works. Let me copy this. CMD. When I press enter, with this command, it will check all the prerequisites needed for the UI automator tool is installed or not. As you can see, Android Home is the set up correctly, so it show the correct sign. Another one is the Java Home is set up correctly, so it show the correct sign. Other things, it show the cross sign, but that is not necessary currently for our project. Now, finally, we come to the coding section. As you can see, this is the source code of automation test. This source code is available in GitHub. You can download this source code from the GitHub. I will provide the link over the description. After cloning this project, to run this project, you have to activate Python virtual environment, and after activating virtual environment, the install dependencies included in the requirement.txt. And after that, inside src directory, you have to copy the SwagLab APK file, which you downloaded from this link, and rename that the file with the simple.apk. And the last thing is that you have to set up Android version manager, just like I did here. And after setting all the things to run this test case, you have to run Appium server with Appium. After activating the Appium server, you can run test case with the command pytest -x-d. Actually, the -x and -a is not required. By including this, it will be helpful for you. The purpose of -x is to terminate the test case when in the case of test case failure, and -b is for purpose is so the detailing of test case. Uh, in this way, you can run this automation test. Now, let me make you clear about the things that is written inside this file. The first thing is the locators directory. Inside locators directory, there is locators.py file. This file contains the class and its attribute. It's defined identifier for element, means the XPath for every element that we want to interact with. Inside the src directory, there is base.py file. This file contains method which will be used by other method. And here is the init method. The purpose of init method is to initialize driver instance into self.driver. Another one is it initialize the WebDriver instance to self.wait. The main purpose of WebDriver wait is to handle dynamic element in Selenium. So it takes self.driver. 20 means the number of seconds that we want to make it wait. And poll frequency is equal to 2 means that while waiting for particular element, it call on the interval of 2 seconds. This is the ignore exception. Another one is the click method. The main purpose of click method is to perform click operation on element. So what it does is that it wait for element until that element is clickable. So The EL element is assigned to EL, and EL dot click perform the click operation on element. So in the case of that element isn't find within the 20 second, or the timeout exception will occur. Another one is the field text, which take the locator and the text value that we want to send on that element. And what it does is that it waits for element until that element is present. And if the element is present, then it passes the text over that element. Another one is the each element method. This method return the element. And in the case of timeout exception, it return the none. So what it does is it wait for element until that element is present and it return that element. The last method is click displayed, which take the locator and return a true and false based on that locator. So it wait for element until that element is present. And in the case of still element reference exception and timeout exception, the result will be false. So still element reference exception occur in the case of element reload. Another one is the driver.py file. This file contain configuration that is required to connect with Appium server. So the main purpose of get Android driver is to return web driver instance. And here is the Appium option. Is take the option or we can say parameter that are needed to pass over Appium server. Here I'm finding the dynamic path for APK. Now we are loading the capabilities. Uh, Here the platform name is Android, automation name is UI Automator 2, device name is Android, and for the app we are passing the APK path. No reset is equal to true. It just prevent application from reset while performing test. The new command timeout is 600. 600 means the 600 second. So this is the sleep time interval between test case. So here I define the 600 second. And the last one is app wait activity. So it just wait for this activity until it is active. So the main purpose of this is that until this activity is active, the test case will not run. And the last one is we are passing the parameter over the APM server and it return the web string. Let me show you the use of this uh, parameter. Let me run the test case. I forget to run the APM server. Let me run the APM server and I can run this command. When I run this test case, as you can see in the Android emulator, the automation test is performing. As you can see, it's get login. Let me terminate this test case. Uh, when I include this parameter, the test case is running fine. Now let me comment out and save it. I have to log out from this application and let me remove this application. And let me run this command again. Now the application is open. But it doesn't perform any automation here. So that's the test case get failed. When I comment out this parameter, the test case is failed. The reason behind the test case is failed is that the test case doesn't wait for this activity to be active. You can get this value by running this command. Let me copy this and run on the terminal. And you can get the activity name as it is. So one main important thing is that you have to open Swag Lab application to get so that you can get this value. You can install the APK file by simply drag and drop on the emulator, but it is already installed in my emulator. To run this command, you have to open the swag lab. Uh, when I run that command again, the value isn't shown here. So to get this value, you have to open the swag lab application so that you can get this the activity value. And the thing is the swag lab.py file. So it this contain the method that play important roles on performing the various actions like login, logout, add to cart, place order. My file contain fixture that return the WebDriver string. This fixture is only available in test case class because its scope is equal to class is undefined. And inside test directory, there is two test file, the test login logout and test order process. Let me see the test login logout. It define the test case for login and logout. And in the test login logout class, there is a fixture with name test driver. The main purpose of this fixture is that to, to set driver instance over the self.driver. The auto use is auto use defense so that this fixture is auto use by this method, the test method. And the test login run first because we are defining the order one. The test logout run at last. The reason is the order minus one is given. And here we are defining the credential username and password. You can get the username and password from here. It is publicly available for everyone, so that's I am defining the username and password here. Uh, but most of the case, the username and password are sensitive data, so that you have to put that data by making .env file. The Swag Lab class, there is a login method which take the credential. Let's redirect to that method, and we are assigning username and password over username and password variable. The self takes method takes locator, username locator and username value. And the self dot click method take the swag lab login, the locator. So you can find the locator of particular element by using the Appium inspector. So the main purpose of Appium inspector is to inspect element in mobile application. When we compare to browser, you can inspect by right clicking on the browser, but for mobile application, you have to download the separate tool called Appium inspector. You can download the Appium inspector by visiting this URL. I will provide the link over the description. From here, you can download the Appium inspector based on your platform. Let me open Appium inspector. Currently, I am targeting for login dashboard. Now the Appium inspector is open. We have to pass some parameter over here. So parameter, let me copy this. Let me paste here and save this and start session. With this parameter, it will connect with Android emulator. So to find the username locator, I have to click on here, and now I am get the aux path. This variable take the aux path of the username. So that's the reason I am defining the aux path. And just like username, the password here I mentioned the aux path, and here I am defining the aux path, or we can say locator for login button. For the login button, you have to click on the login. Just I did for username, and here is the aux path. After performing click operation on login button, what I'm doing here is product takes checking that whether this element is display or not. And if that element is display, then it return the true. And if that element is not displayed, then here that return false. So let me show you how it works. Let me log in over the system. And after login, the product text is available. So I am checking that this product text is available or not. So this product text only present in the case of successful login. So that's the reason I'm checking for product text. Another one is for the test logout. Let's redirect over the test logout method. And to perform logout, I'm passing the locator for hammer bar. For the click method, I'm passing the logout button locator. And for each element display method, I'm passing the locator for login button. So the same as the login, it will return true or false based on this login button display or not. So let me show you how it works. So to perform logout in this application, I have to click on this hammer bar icon. So that I am passing the hammer bar locator over click method. And let me click on hammer bar icon. And after clicking on that to log out, I have to click on logout button. So that's the reason I am passing the logout button locator here. And after successfully log out, a login button is displayed. So I'm passing the login button locator here inside each element display method. If it is successfully logged out, then this button will be available or shown. If it is not logged out, then this login button isn't display. So based on that, it will return the true or false. If that return the true, then this test case will pass. Another one is for order process. For the order process, I am defining a fixture which main purpose is to set a web driver instance over the self.driver attribute. And another one is the test for add card. Let's move toward the add to card method. And to perform add to card, let me show you how it works. And to add to card, I have to click on add to card button. And to get the text of this one, I need the this card element. So for the click operation, I'm passing the add to card locator, just like this one or this one, but it will target for first one. And each element is that inside each element method, I'm passing the locator for card with quantity locator. This one is the card with quantity locator. And it return that element. After returning that element, I'm getting the text from that element. So let me show you in the emulator. This thing is, this is extracting the text from that element, this element. And after extracting, if the text is 1 is equal to this one, then this test case will pass. So to perform the place order, what I am passing the record over the place order method. Let me click over here and let me go back. And to place order, I have to click on this card item icon. So here I'm for the click method, I'm passing a view card locator. This one is the view card icon. After that, I'm passing the checkout locator over the click method. The checkout locator means this one checkout locator. Another one is I have to pass your first name, last name, and postal code. So that's the reason I'm passing the first name locator and first name over field text method. And for another field text method, um, is take the last name locator and last name value. And for another, it take the zip code locator and zip code value. Let me pass some random value. One thing guys, to find the locator, you have to reload this page by clicking on this icon. So it will reflect the same things over here. Let me minimize this. we are passing the continue button locator over click method. So uh, for this is targeting for this button. Let me click on continue, and the last one is for the finish. So let me click on finish. After clicking on finish, the order is successful. So it show the thank you for you order. Now I'm passing the locator for thank you for order into the each element display. So if this text is display, then it will return a true. So in the case of true, this test case will pass. Let me save this and let me log out and remove this, and let me run the code here. Now the app is opening and it's perform login operation, and after login, now it's goes for add to cart and for place order. Last one is for logout. Now the test case is fast. Now test case is passed successfully. So yeah, in this way it will work. So now let me show you how can you connect this automation test with Slack. By connecting this with Slack, you will get a notification in the case of test case failure. So the conf is.py file, I write the function. The main purpose of this function is to capture the message during test case failure, capture the test name and error message. Currently, I am printing that message. Uh, let, let me show you how it works. Inside the test order process file, let me change this card item to 14 and let me run this case. For the test login, it get passed. Now for the add card, we assume that this test case will fail. So the test case is fail for test add card, and let me see the message that we printed over here. Let me see this message. As you can see, this message is a display on the console. So what we want to do is that we want this message to display on Slack. So for that, let me create this one file called slack.py. Here I write the function that allow to notify the Slack in the case of the test case failure. So first we need the Slack webhook URL. We will get that from the Slack. I will show you later. And currently we are storing the Slack webhook URL in .env file. And in the case of that URL is on prison, it will simply return none. Another one is this contain the message, error message that we want to send over the Slack. And with this, it send that message over this URL. We are simply printing the message in the case of the request exception. Let me save this and inside the conf test.py file, let me import the notifier from Slack notify. This is the error message, not test 10. Now it will send this message over this Slack notify. It will send, and this message will be displayed on the Slack. So now and the
we
thing that we have
need
to do the Slack webhook URL. So you will get the Slack webhook URL by creating the app. I will show you how can you do that. Um, so here is the documentation. How so first we have to create the Slack app. So let me click on that and let me create the app from scratch, and let me give the name the test app. And currently this is the Slack app that I am using. So I have click on first and create app, and it will create the app and what we need the webhook. So let me click on webhook and activate this. Now I have to add the channel to this workspace. So for that I have to select the channel, create the channel, create channel, the notif notifier. Next, uh, create skip. Now I add the notifier channel. Let me choose that channel from here. Let me refresh this, and here's a notifier, and I click on allow. Now it's give me the webhook URL. Let me copy this URL and just replace the webhook that I have given in this .env file and paste here. Control Shift, and let me log out from this application by clicking on log out, and just clear this console and let me run the code again. Okay, the test login is successful. Now for the air card failure, and let me see on Slack. As you can see, we get the message that the test failed, and in this way we can connect the automation test with Slack. So all this much for this video.